Good morning, Chicago Cubs fans, and we are back with another edition of Cubs Daily. My name is Steven Ryan. We got a few things to hop on into today. We got some trade rumors. I'm going to break down our second round pick, Kane Kempley. We'll review some of the moments from the All-Star game, and I'm going to get to some of your viewers' comments, and I want to hear everyone's thoughts. So continue to keep dropping them down below in the comment section. Let's hop right into it, right? Yesterday's All-Star game was awesome. I'm just going to say it like that. I mean, it looked like it was going to be a drubbing early. The National League went up 6-0, and before you know it, the American League battled back and forced the first ever home run derby to decide the All-Star game. I had a lot of fun watching that. I like the selection of the three hitters. Now, could they have been a little bit better of a selection? Sure, but I'm not here to get into all that nitty-gritty. PCA doubled in there. They talked to him in center field, which was awesome. Kyle Tucker made a hell of a play in left field. A nice sliding catch. Boy, did that look smooth. And overall, just a fun, festive activities for the All-Star game. So I want to see Kyle Tucker and PCA donning those Cubs uniforms for years to come, especially in 2027 when that game is at Wrigley Field. So I love the All-Star game. It's a nice break. It's a nice reset, but the Cubs are set to be back in action starting Friday against the Red Sox, who before the break had won, I believe, 8, 9, maybe it's 10 in a row. It's a lot in a row. They are coming in, swinging the bats well. They're playing great baseball, so the Cubs have to be ready to answer the call on that front. So another All-Star game in the books. Happy that the Cubs got 2 starters in there. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of Cubs Daily, right? We want to talk about some draft breakdown. We're going to talk about a trade rumor here as well and get to some of your guys and gals' comments. So let's talk about our second-round pick, Kane Kempley, the outfielder from North Carolina. Now, he looks like a very, very solid baseball player. Now, he doesn't got a lot of pop in his bat. Here are some of the numbers for him at North Carolina. Again, he stole 45 bases in 49 attempts last year. He hit .291. He had a 2-to-1 walk-to-strikeout ratio, and he had a really, really nice on-base percentage. And one of the things that I did like that I saw, like, and these are the front-facing stats, right? He only had 3 home runs, but his OPS was 896. So, his on-base was so high that his slugging was not probably where we want it to be, but his on-base was so obnoxiously high that he did that well. If he has an 896 OPS in the majors, that means he's just going to be a great leadoff hitter, I think. He doesn't got a lot of power in the bat. When you watch his swing, it's very short. It's very compact. He's there to make contacts, but he's there to drive through the baseball, okay? He doesn't get a lot of lift on it. He's kind of got that Nico Horner vibe in terms of how he hits the baseball. He hits it well. He squares up the rock, but he line drives it. There's not a lot of arc to it, not a big power hitter, which again, if that's not your game, that's not your game. You can make a name for yourself in baseball if that's not your skill. Now, that's what a lot of people do look for, but that's not who Kane Kempley is. Let me give you guys the scouting breakdown for our main man, Kane, okay? Now, if you guys are new to scouting, that's okay. They grade players on a scale of 20 to 80. 20 being like, hey, this ain't gonna work out. 80 being like, this is an elite, major league ready tool. It's gonna play day one, okay? You gotta think of it on that grand scale. So, the power's a 30. They don't expect much power to be developed with Kane, and that's okay. That's not the name of his game, but his hitting, 55, that's above average, right? If 40 is average in this instance, or 50 is average, that's slightly above average. That's pretty solid. Again, when you watch his swing, I watched a few highlights of him in North Carolina. He's got a nice, short, compact stroke. He's quick to the ball. And again, he hits it hard. It's just not on an arc and out of the ballpark, per se. But I like the swing, and obviously what he brings to the table is that running ability and that fielding ability, which are above par. Now, when you grade these young cats, generally speaking, not a lot of development in the sense like is added on, right? So like they're hoping that hit tool becomes like a 60. At best, it becomes a 65. I'm not sure how many times someone's gotten a hit to a 55 and it soared up to an 80, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. But that fielding, that running, that's going to play well in the big leagues. He's going to have an impact. You know, if you remember the name like Terrence Gore, like obviously he came off the bench a lot, but 3-time World Series champion, by the way. He'll have a role on a team, I think. Kane is definitely a little bit of a project, but again, I liked the swing. I liked how quick it was. I liked, how simple it was. It was to the ball. It was direct. It's what you like to see out of a hitter. Yes, it's not the power you're looking for, but again, maybe that's not his gig. That's not his role if he ever becomes a Chicago Cub. He is a Chicago Cub, I know, but I'm talking about if he is to make the big league club one day. So these are the grades for Kane Kempley. My overall thoughts is I think it's a very solid pick. I think it's a little bit of a project development. I think the Cubs have their center fielder, and I think we all know his name's Pete Crow Armstrong. But again, you got to have organizational depth across all fronts because you never really know what's gonna happen. So I like the pick, and obviously if the Cubs drafted him, they clearly like the pick as well. I'm not sure if they're too, worried about him developing power by any means, but if he can go down to the minor leagues, he can keep that good swing going and play that great defense and steal some bases, there's no doubt in my mind Kane's gonna find his way to a major league roster here at some point during the, his career. It's probably not going to be this year, next year, or the year after, but there's no reason that Kane can't make the big leagues in some capacity. So there was a rumor the other day that, the Twins are getting open for business, right? Apparently Byron Buxton has been in trade rumors, but he shot all that down saying, I have no trade clause, I'm not going anywhere. I want to be a Twin for life, etc. But that doesn't mean that other players aren't available. We did have a comment in one of our videos that they said they wanted Joe Ryan. I like Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan's a very, very good pitcher. This is the guy I want. I want Johan Duran, okay? I want that 100-mile-per-hour splitter action coming out of the pen in the ninth. I understand we got Danny Palencia. I love Danny Palencia, guys. I think he's really, really good, but I can't make this point enough. When it comes to October baseball, you need to have as many high leverage arms as possible. Do you remember the Royals in the 2014 and 2015 season? They went to back-to-back World Series. That might have been the most consistent bullpen I have ever watched. Now, I understand there's probably been more. I'm not that old. I'm sure a lot of you guys that are on YouTube can tell me about some consistent bullpens you have seen in your day. Obviously, Mariano Rivera was one of the most consistent closers I've ever watched. Trevor Hoffman. But I'm talking about bullpen from top to bottom, finished off by Wade Davis. The Royals were sensational, and they were able to get out of so many jams during those 2 years that they got to the World Series. So, the Cubs bullpen has absolutely improved, no doubt about it, but that doesn't mean it can't get better. And I think Johan Duran is absolutely filthy. He throws 100, and his splitter is 99-100 with sick movement. I want that on my team. I'm not going to lie to you. I would love Johan Duran. I'm not sure how the package or the trades would work out, but remember the name Owen Casey that we talked about? Obviously, if you're on this channel, you know who that is. If we were able to package Owen Casey and a couple other players for Joe Ryan and Johan Duran, count me in. I'm in on that. I would love to add him, to the back end of our bullpen and add Joe Ryan to the front with a start. That would be a great deal for me if I was, the Cubs in that sense. So we're coming up on the trade deadline. We don't know who the Cubs are going to get, but I'm starting to like that idea. And if this guy's available, let's go get him. Let's secure the back end. We can go Palencia 8, this guy 9. It's only a 7-inning ball game. You just got to get to the 8th inning, and this one should be a wrap. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below about Johan Duran or Joe Ryan or any other name you guys are hearing and want to maybe have them become a Cub. I'm all ears, especially as we wrap up and get closer to this trade deadline. I'm reacting to your guys' comments as well. I'm answering questions if you have any. I love hearing everyone's thoughts. Keep them coming. Like I said, keep the viewer comments coming because you could be featured here on Cubs Daily, which is exactly what's going to happen right now. I got 3 comments we're going to go over. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, and I'm going to, agree or quote-unquote disagree. But generally speaking, a lot of us are on the same page when it comes to these topics about the Cubs. So We're going to start off with our man, Jay Golden. He was talking about the draft the other day. He said, my initial thoughts during the first 3 rounds yesterday were that the Cubs are replenishing outfield talent and anticipating of trading a few in the coming weeks. But who knows? Jay, you're not wrong to think that, right? Generally speaking, these Major League Ball clubs, they're not slick. You're not making these moves, to just say, I'm just making the move, No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I do think that, our most valuable assets are Owen Casey and Kevin Alcantara. They're both outfielders, and if we want to improve the long-term health of this ball club or the short-term health for winning a World Series this year, unfortunately, those 2 guys are going to go. Also, those guys are coming up the timeline real quick. They need to play Major League Baseball soon, and if the Cubs' anticipation is to re-sign Pete Crow Armstrong and Kyle Tucker, or at least Kyle Tucker for this offseason, then you're going to have to probably trade one of those guys to fill other needs elsewhere. And drafting these young guys kind of resets that timeline, right? Like now, Kane Kempley and Ethan Conrad, they can take their time through the progression levels of the minor leagues as this Cubs team currently continues to compete for postseason wins, etc., etc. So I don't disagree with that comment. I 100%. I see what you're seeing there, my man, and I like that. Keep those comments coming. We got another one from 25DBZ. He says, Cubbies have a lot of weapons. Amen, brother. A lot of tools in the minor leagues, and the weak points are improving, i.e. middle relief, etc. But to truly be the best team in Major League Baseball at the end of the season, we need one more lights-out starter. No one has won a World Series in the past 30 years with one good starter, one good closer, and the rest of the pitching staff struggles. That's all I've been trying to say here on Cubs Daily, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I've been trying to say. But, not everyone agrees. That's totally okay. If you want to win a World Series, it's not easy to win a World Series, right? This is not easy. We did it one time, and I'm craving another one. We need another starter. We need another closer. And y'all aren't going to like this either. We probably need a third baseman at least for the rest of this year. I think Matt Shaw will be our third baseman, but he needs to go down. He needs to develop. He's seen the Major League pitching. He needs to work on some things with his swing. But you're not wrong at all. We need to go get ourselves another arm, another closer. I say a closer. I'm sorry. I love Danny Palencia. I think if we win the World Series, he's our 8th inning guy. That's all I'm saying. We could go to the postseason with him as our closer, no doubt. But I'm telling you, if we're hoisting the trophy at the end of the year, he's the 8th inning guy. That's how I feel about the development and how good a team can really be. So that was a good comment right there. Then we got another one from our main man, Kenny. I've been going at him with him. Not going at it. We've been having a very nice discussion, actually, in the comment section. Said, Ethan Conrad has a very nice swing from all the clips I've perused over. Would have went higher if hadn't been injured. That's right. He only played 21 games during his Wake Forest season. Probably could have been a top 10 pick if healthy. Afraid the writing is on the wall for Casey. Though I myself would consider him untouchable, Merrill Kelly and Seth Lugo I would focus on if I was them. And with both on expiring contract, there is no way I'd deal Casey for them. And I think you nailed it right there, my man. I don't think Jed's going to be trading Casey if it's for a rental. Okay? I don't think that's how this is going to get done. If we're trading Casey, we're getting a guy that's going to be on this club for at least 3 more seasons, okay? There's no way that it doesn't not happen in that light. So 100% understand. I agree. I think the writing is on the wall. I do want to see him as a Cub, but I just don't think that's in the cards for today, unfortunately, and where this Cubs team is lined up and what our trajectory is at. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Cubs Daily today. Again, if you're enjoying the content, again, hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1K. The growth has been unbelievable this past week. Let's keep this momentum rolling, and I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Enjoy the day off. We'll be stressing on Friday.